The bikers chased the woman truck driver until her military dogs showed their training. The highway stretched endlessly under the roar of Olivia Carter's 18-wheeler. The sun was setting behind her, painting the sky in vivid shades of red and gold. She adjusted her grip on the wheel, glancing at two large crates strapped to the passenger seat of her truck. Inside were her most loyal companions, Thor and Shadow, two highly trained military dogs. After 6 years of service in the Army as a canine handler, Olivia had switched to truck driving to travel the country and make a living. But while the battlefield was behind her, she never traveled unprepared. The two Belgian Malinois were more than pets to her. They were family, protectors, and her best defense in an unpredictable world. She had just crossed into Texas and pulled into a small truck stop to refuel, stretch her legs, and let the dogs out for a short walk. Jumping out of the cab, she immediately felt eyes on her. A group of bikers in leather vests covered in tattoos lounged by their motorcycles. Their smirks and whispers sent a wave of unease through her. Olivia had dealt with unwanted attention before as a female truck driver, but something about this group sharpened her instincts. Ignoring them, she unlatched Thor and Shadow. The dogs leapt down, their lean, muscular bodies tense as they scanned the area. Shadow, the darker of the two, let out a low growl, as if sensing the tension in the air. "Nice dogs," one of the bikers called, strolling closer. He was tall and broad-shouldered, with a scruffy beard and a grin that didn't reach his eyes. "You sure a little thing like you can handle a beast like that?" Olivia met his gaze without flinching. "I managed just fine." Another biker, younger and thinner, snickered. "Maybe you need a real man behind the wheel. What do you say, sweetheart? We'll buy you a drink inside." "Not interested," she said firmly, clipping the leashes back. The men exchanged glances. Their amusement shifted into something more predatory. One stepped forward, fingers twitching as if to grab her arm. Don't be like that. We're just being friendly." Thor sensed his handler's change in posture. His ears flattened, lips pulling back slightly. Olivia tightened her grip on the leash. "I said I'm not interested. Step back." Instead of retreating, the bearded biker smirked wider. "Sharp tongue. I like that." Enough was enough. Olivia was patient, but she wasn't about to let things escalate further. Releasing the leashes, she gave a quiet, firm command. "Guard." Thor and Shadow sprang into action. Shadow lunged first, releasing a deep, guttural snarl that made the biker stumble back, his bravado vanishing in an instant. Thor followed, baring his teeth, his stance rigid and aggressive. The bikers recoiled, throwing up defensive hands. Olivia stepped forward, her voice cold as ice. "Thought I was alone? Wrong. These boys are trained to take down threats bigger and meaner than you. I suggest you get on your bikes and leave before they decide you're more than just an annoyance." For a moment, the bikers hesitated. Then, as if coming to a silent agreement, they backed off, muttering curses under their breath. One shot her a venomous glare before climbing onto his motorcycle. Engines roared to life, and one by one, they sped off into the thickening dusk. Olivia exhaled slowly, watching them disappear. She turned to the dogs. "Good boys," she murmured, kneeling to ruffle their fur. Shadow gave a satisfied sigh, while Thor wagged his tail faintly, still watching the road in case they returned. Climbing back into the truck, she glanced at the dog crates on the passenger seat. "It looks like I owe you two a steak for dinner," she said with a small smile. The road ahead was long, but with Thor and Shadow by her side, she knew she would never truly be alone or defenseless. As she guided the truck back onto the highway, she kept an eye on the mirrors. The bikers were gone, for now. But something in her gut told her this wasn't over. She'd met men like them before, and they rarely let things go. From the passenger seat came a soft sound, as if Shadow sensed her tension. Olivia reached over, scratching behind his ears. "It's all fine, boy, just a bunch of idiots." But an hour later, as the neon glow of a roadside diner came into view, her unease became reality. In her rearview mirror, Faint motorcycle headlights appeared. Not one, but several. Her grip on the wheel tightened. Thor and Shadow both perked up, alert. She wasn't about to lead them straight to where she planned to rest for the night. In an instant, she made her choice. Flicking on her blinker, she pulled into the diner's parking lot, where other trucks stood under bright lights. It wasn't crowded, but there were a few patrons inside, enough witnesses to give her an edge. Stepping down from the cab, she heard the motorcycles roll in after her. Boots crunched on gravel as the bikers approached. That was it. She'd had enough. Leaving the truck door open, she grabbed Thor's leash and unclipped him. He immediately shifted into full readiness, ears forward, eyes locked on the advancing men. "Hey, lady," the bearded biker called, arms spread like greeting an old friend. "You hurt my feelings back there. That wasn't very nice." "Leave," Olivia warned, her tone steady and unyielding. The younger biker smirked. "Or what? You're going to sick your mutts on us again?" Shadow, still in the cab, erupted in a sharp, threatening bark. The sound made the younger man flinch, though he quickly forced out a nervous laugh. The bearded one stepped closer. "Come on, we just want to talk." Olivia had no time for their games. With one smooth motion, she unhooked Thor's leash and gave a sharp order. "Guard." Thor exploded forward in a controlled burst of speed, stopping just inches from the biker. His massive chest vibrated with a deep, rumbling growl, teeth bared, eyes locked on the biker. The biker froze, his bravado vanishing in a heartbeat. Whoa, pull him back!" Olivia crossed her arms. "Not until you and your buddies get on your bikes and leave." The others hesitated, clearly reevaluating their chances. Finally, one muttered, "Screw this, man. She's not worth it." The bearded biker scowled, but slowly backed away. "Crazy woman." Thor snapped his jaws with a sound like a gunshot in the still night air. The biker flinched, bit back his words, and turned to his motorcycle. One by one, they all followed. Olivia finally clenched her fists. Dropping to her knees beside Thor, she stroked his head. "Good boy." Shadow whined from the cab, and she laughed. "Yeah, you too, big guy." Climbing back into the truck, she locked the doors and exhaled. This time, she was certain they wouldn't be coming back. Tomorrow, she'd be on the road again, another state, another mile closer to her destination. But this night, she could sleep in peace, knowing her best friends had her back. When the bikers were finally gone, Olivia sat for a moment behind the wheel, letting the adrenaline drain away. Running a hand through her hair, she checked the rearview mirror one last time. Clear. Thor sat beside her, eyes still scanning the road, ever vigilant. Shadow sighed softly from his crate, finally relaxing. "It's all right, boys. Let's get some rest." She drove to a nearby well-lit rest area, parking among other truckers. In the sleeper cab, she pulled off her boots and sat on the edge of the bed. Thor jumped up beside her, resting his head on her lap, while Shadow curled at her feet. "You saved me today," she whispered, scratching Thor's ears. They had been with her through joy and sorrow, through military tours and endless lonely miles, and now through real danger once more. Thor gave a quiet, contented sigh and closed his eyes, finally trusting enough to relax. Olivia leaned back against the pillow, staring at the ceiling of the cab. Sleep would come easily tonight. Out here, on the endless road, she wasn't just a woman in a truck. She was a warrior, and with her dogs by her side, she was unstoppable.